Hello, welcome to the Hoopty Cast. I'm Tyler Hoover with my friends here, Rob Santori and Elliot Alvis. And every other week, they alternate telling stories. And this week, it's Rob's turn. He's going to talk about all the shady things that car dealers do. All the shady, slimy tactics that they need to do to make money because it is a very tough business.
Absolutely.
Car dealers are not making a bunch of money right now. They are really struggling, and Rob's just going to rub it in. It's one of the only businesses where people get angry that you make money off of them. If somebody's flipping houses, you don't get mad that they're making money off it. Like anything else, you're able to buy and sell and make a profit. But in the car business, you're villainized for whatever reason. So Rob has decided to villainize. Well, I was a former car dealer.
Really, how we're going to start the show?
Anyway, yes, Jake was kind enough to put me in Kurt Russell's garb there in used cars. So that's a nice little Photoshop there. He billed me $500 for it, but worth it, I think.
I agree. Did a nice job.
So.
What's new with you?
Yeah,
why don't you start this time? Start with you.
I'm not.
We always forget
nothing.
you.
I'm just hooptying. I don't miss the Bugatti.
I know you're an everyman now.
Yeah,
it's okay. The SLR's enough.
You went back to your roots.
It's very nice. Yes,
I know. It's great. The fans seem to be thrilled about it too.
I had a very good response to the video, which was great. Good. Yes. Good. I'm very happy about that. The video's doing well. And hunting for hoopties. Hoopties and making fun of electric cars, apparently. Buying them and making fun of them is a very good avenue for Hoovie's Garage.
Well, there's a lot of bad ones.
Yeah. It has worked out well for you, that's for sure.
So that's my plan. Elliot, how's your syphilis?
My syphilis. Oh, God, I do not have that, guys.
Just allegedly.
Clearing that up. No, everything's pretty good. It's been a busy week. Work is insane. We got a couple of different contracts going on right now, and
are tariffs helping you since you can make the boards in the U.S. now?
Ooh. Yes, but we have to buy a lot of components that get tariffed.
Oh,
and each board has like hundreds of components on it.
So the raw material is expensive now.
So it's
it's kind of it's not helping. Let's just say that. But it's not like but like I said, the people who are going to buy from us already were gonna, and like I said, it's not exactly helping. It's not exactly hurting. Kind of, I guess, a wash, like you said.
You're keeping all the old infrastructure going all over the country. Let's
hope.
Die, right?
Yeah, right.
All the old computers that everybody uses to do random things. So that's nice.
Hey, the Postal Service loves us. So
yeah,
and, all those people mailing letters,
and Rob
like we do.
Lime vodka,
lime rum, shipwreck lime rum. I'm trying something a little light. I wanted to keep it light because this episode's going to be light.
Gonna be heavy.
You wanted to say sharp, unlike.
No, it can be.
I'd like with the lime. You're trying to keep the scurvy away.
Well, there's going to be a lot of scurvy. This is okay. This is going to go so well, and I'm excited for this.
So have you fallen for any of these dealership tactics yourself? I got an email actually yesterday from someone. They were asking me if I had like a $3,000 or $4,000 car for a member of their church, because they got talked into a 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage for $600 a month.
Oh.
Somehow there was an 80-something-year-old woman
but the dealer's just trying to make money.
She's on Social Security making like $1,700 a month, and some dealer smashed her with a Mirage.
And how are we defending the dealer on this?
I don't know the details. It could be $580 a month for like 6 months. Then that's a great deal.
I was going to say, it's like that car could be paid off pretty quick.
Nobody's paying 6 months on that crap.
Right. That's the thing. I didn't know the details. If it's a 1-year deal, then hey, that's probably not. That's really good. That's really generous on them. So I will say
on this list, I did not fall for any of these. I have been ensnared in a few of these. I think all of us have.
I think, when they try this stuff on me, I just laugh and tell them to F off and move on.
Well, you walk the walk and you know their deal, and you can even tell them, like, listen here, buddy, I've been where you are.
You've been on the other side. You were, at one point, you were probably the best dealer at the corner of Kellogg and wherever the hell that was.
The only one or whatever. Yes.
Yeah. My goodness.
I think the last one was it was the Tesla, my Model S Plaid, where they wanted to charge me $1,800 for a ceramic coat. So I said, okay, I'll buy they finally discounted the Model S Plaid to a number that I would pay, and said, hey, we were negotiating. I was willing to pay this, and now you've lowered the price. And it's like, oh, well, great. Then they sent it over, and they just lowered the price $2,000, and then put in, the ceramic coating for $2,000.
Again, no defense for this. Okay, I get you're going to have a defense for these. You're not going to have a defense for the first one. I would love for you to find a defense for the first one.
Go ahead. Get started there.
You really want to start it?
Number one.
How many of these do you have?
10.
10. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of preface this by saying, okay, buying a car, it is for people that are not us that buy cars every week. I think it's probably one of the more exciting things for people. A lot of people
Also
keep cars a long time.
stressful.
Yeah, and stressful
For a lot of people.
But it is. I mean,
Well, Elliot doesn't buy cars every week anymore because he spends it all on hose.
yeah, that is true. I mean,
Spend
your
it all on
hoe
my
budget's gone way up.
ex-wife, really.
Yeah, well, that's not a hoe. But why are we talking about hose right off the bat?
Because you said we buy a car every
I
week,
used
which
to buy.
we don't.
The point is, we've all bought cars a lot.
you
But for
do.
people who don't, I
Jake
get what you're
does.
saying. It is an exciting time. It's the second biggest purchase you'll likely make other than your house. So it's something people don't rush into. A lot of people don't know anything about cars.
Right.
And so they get very anxious about the idea of it.
And you have people from all different. They have people that know, like Tyler, that know the tricks of the game. There are people that don't know. There are people that are first-time buyers. There are people, but at the end of the day, one of the best feelings that I've ever had, I think that a lot of people have had, is that feeling of driving home in your new car.
And feeling like you've ripped off the dealership where they're going to have to close their doors and go out of business. That's how you like
me,
Yes, for you. Yes.
For me, absolutely.
Yes.
But for the normal person, they just want to drive home in their new car. We're not even on one yet, and we're arguing my tactics.
Because Rob showed up at my car delership back, 15 years ago, and
gonna be a
and just
2-hour
kicked me in the
podcast.
nuts. And it was just like,
Shittiest car.
It was just
Holy
go away.
shit, this car was crap.
Go away. Anyway, what's your first point?
so good.
The car didn't even run. It needed. They took the tune out of it. Well, it doesn't even idle. Couldn't even drive it. Can we test drive it? Well, I don't.
I'll let you drive it.
It didn't go anywhere. It wouldn't
I
even
drove
stay running. It would just stall.
Wait, also, did he do this in front of Courtney?
Sold it for $5,000 more than what you offered.
Yeah, to some moron.
No, to somebody that knew what
They
it was.
probably got all those bullshit fees added and all that wonderful. No,
Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
So, anyways, back to we're going to get to number one. Let me get my damn preface out here.
Okay.
So, it is supposed to be the most exciting thing. It's a great feeling to get in that new car, drive it home, the new car smell, and, hell, even how the used car smell. They put the new car smell in the used car.
Yeah,
It's
cigarettes
great.
and
Well,
the
depending on-
little trees.
There's only
Depending on the
only
dealership.
one smell that Elliot likes.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
exactly. Oh, God. Did they make that?
I'm not even provoking this right now.
That's probably on Adam and Eve, right? You can buy that off Adam and Eve to get that. Do you have that in the Prius? No.
Yeah, I missed the seats with it
So
every
anyway,
time.
so it's a good time. But when you turn on TikTok or Google or YouTube or any of these things, you find so many videos of people pissed off, fighting salesmen, driving cars through dealerships. Why is this happening? So I wanted to dive into what are dealers doing that's
There we go.
causing these people to be so pissed off.
It's drugs. It's the epidemic of drugs and alcoholism in
All
our
right.
country, and people
I'll give it that.
not taking responsibility for themselves.
good. That's I'll give that.
Yeah, I'll
give you that. But but I'm going to go over 10 things that I feel like contribute to this as well.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one I'm going to start with, and a lot of you may know this. This is yo-yo financing.
inarguable to Tyler.
Yes, this is it. I don't know how you argue this. So
He's
for
ready,
those
though.
of you
Look at
that
that
don't
face.
know what yo-yo financing is, what happens is you go to the dealership, you haggle, you get your car, you make a deal, you sign the contract. Everybody's happy. They do their little congratulatory thing where you get to bang a gong or, whatever you get to do, shoot a basketball for a car wash or whatever dumb gimmick that they do to make you feel like you've just got the best car ever. You take your car home and you're enjoying it. You get a weekend and you're comfortable and you love your car, and all of a sudden the dealer calls. You're like, well, why is the dealer calling me? Well, sir, I've got some bad news, but I have some good news for you. You didn't actually get qualified, so your loan's not approved. So I'm going to need you to bring the car back, but I've got you. I could get you another car, or we can get you this car for $100 less a month. Well, how are they going to do that? So how they do it, of course, is with a longer loan term, higher interest rate. But meanwhile, the buyer walked out of there thinking they got this car. They've signed it. They have no idea that the financing was never really secured, even though it was supposed to be. And then these dealerships basically are taking a week to try to get these people financed, but not telling them that they're not approved. They've signed everything. They've got their car. They've spent money on it in some instances. They bought wheels, whatever they want to do for it. And then all of a sudden they're being told they got to bring the car back and do worse terms. I don't know of a more horrible practice that should not be allowed than that.
It's not allowed.
But it is allowed. It happens all the time, and it happens to many people.
Well, I was going to ask how if you sign something, like if you agree, if they screw up, isn't it kind of on them?
It's not them screwing up.
Because-
The problem is that they actually, it's in the paperwork somewhere that it is not binded yet.
Yeah.
They just have to read
Right.
everything.
Gotcha.
Because if you come in to buy a car on a Saturday afternoon,
bank's
there's
closed.
nobody at the loan office
Yeah.
to approve you. So it's based on, and this is mostly people with marginal to bad credit who
is
get
true.
in this situation.
This is true.
And they get approved hoping that they can do it. And you still have to submit all these stipulations and jump through all these hoops to get it done. And then they realize, we can't for whatever reason. Now, some dealers are shady and they're just optimistic and they hope that they can get these things done and sort of ram them through and that it doesn't work out and bring them back. And it's a tactic to get people in the cars and get them out the door.
That's what I'm talking about.
To where they don't leave. But the situation that you talked about when we posed this thing of somebody like trading in their car and then their car's not there anymore, that is an extremely rare case. Like extremely shady, crazy rare
But
case.
tell us of the people that it's happened to. It's happened to people.
So it's happened. Like one person has gone into a car dealership and
it's
got
more than
murdered.
one.
Let's talk about how
More
they
than one.
got murdered
So-
in a car
so you're
dealership, and that's a
saying-
shady dealership tactic. Throwing the keys on the roof, like that. That's the thing that still happens.
So
Like,
you're saying that it's okay for the dealership to make you believe you've been financed, even though they know you have not been.
stuff happens.
No.
If your
It's okay for you as a car salesman to say you've been financed. Here's your new car. Sign here. Congratulations. Not saying, hey, we're going to let you take the car. We're still working on your financing, though. We haven't quite gotten it where we need to, but we think we can get there.
Okay, how about all the buyers that lie? And then they go through and they're checking all the stipulations, trying to verify their employment, and they aren't employed or they don't make the money. They're false pay stubs. There's that more of that goes on in real life than what you are talking about, where the buyers are lying
That's
and then
not
it screws
true.
up. It's
No,
1,000 to 1
it's not
where
more,
the buyers
1,000 to
are
1 my
lying
ass.
about
But
how much money they make, false
A
pay
simple
stubs.
credit check is going to fix a lot of that.
Anymore.
On
Yeah.
bad credit, the credit's already bad. They have good job time. They're saying they're making thousands more a month than they do just to get a car and be able to drive off because they're desperate. And then they go and check all this stuff and it doesn't work out. Anybody that's in the car business knows this, that when you're dealing with a low credit score person, most of the time they're going to lie about stuff.
That's
Right.
true.
And we can talk about that on my next one when it's top 10 shady things that buyers do to car dealerships.
The dealer is
but we're
much-
not talking about
which you'd
that
be
right
probably
now.
good at,
I would be
actually.
great. I'm
The
probably I know
dealer
30
is
of
much
them.
more likely to get screwed in this instance
That
than the
doesn't
buyers.
make it
And
right for them
that's
to
the
do
reason-
this.
That's the reason why it
But that
usually
doesn't
happens.
make it right. That doesn't make it okay to do this. Imagine if what are you going to tell people about
refuse
that
it.
dealership experience? You're
You
going to be like, oh, I'm going to buy a car there again. No, you're going to trash the crap out of that dealer.
They can take the car back. They can return. You're
Great.
talking about, what if they've already had their trade and they've already sold it? That has almost never ever happened.
No, I'm talking about just being told you have to bring the car back. It's not a transaction like you and I. We buy cars a lot. This is maybe for somebody who this is a big thing.
Well, guess
and now
what?
they're just like, wait a minute, you can take my car back? Like, and you've never told me this was an option. Like, I've now spent money on this car, for whatever reason.
Well, by law, if it turns into something where you spent money on it, so in a situation, so let's say, like I bought a car at auction, and then I sell it before I get the title from the auction, and then there's some sort of issue. If the buyer has put new tires on it, by Kansas state law, I have to pay him back for the repairs and things that he has done. So that's in there. So
Doesn't make it less shady. Everybody
not-
will agree with me that is a shady practice.
it is a shady practice, but on the flip side, it's usually the buyer that is shady about something that screws the deal up.
If you owned a dealership, would you do this to people?
No.
Not intentional.
No, but if I
what I think
had a
he's
big
saying.
operation and I owned a franchise Chevrolet store or something, and I had a low credit type situation where we had a program car on our lot, and it was Saturday night, and everybody's closing up, and they don't have the banks to approve it, but everything looks okay on paper, and we send the person home because everything looks fine, and then ends up not working out and we have to call them next week. Okay.
Okay,
I mean,
so what
it's
we've-
understandable.
What we figured out from this is Tyler would not do this to his own client base. So therefore, to summarize, Tyler's wrong. So I've won the first one. Clearly.
I
Elliot,
think no.
thoughts?
So I think like the way you presented it it's obviously shitty, right?
Yeah.
But what the point he's making is, I can see a low credit customer on like a Thursday at 9 p.m. Where they don't have a way to run it. Should they still do it? Probably not. And like I guess the Saturday anytime afternoon, you're taking
Right.
taking risk, which is a big thing.
If you're an honorable car dealership,
Like I said,
though,
if
you
I-
tell the
wh-
person.
What I would do
Tell
is
them.
I would
We'll give you the car.
definitely verbally let them know
Yes.
and like explain like, here's the deal. We haven't fully gotten you accepted yet. We're gonna let you take the car, but there is a chance that this doesn't go
And
through.
they don't do that.
And like, so you need to think about that before you go home tonight in the new car, because if it doesn't go through, we are going to take it back. If you explained that to them, which in your writings or research, you found that they don't often do, you know, I don't know.
It
It's
is
like I
rare.
said,
It is rare for them to sell the car. And in theory, the ones that it's happened to that I read about, you know, what I saw was what they would do is they'd offer them trade-in value for the car, which would then render them
They'd be in the hole.
screwed, completely, which is not good. But then you have to litigate. You can win the litigation, but you have to get a lawyer involved, litigate to win it back.
That's what I was
But
gonna
it's
say.
very rare. That is not what I'm talking about as much. It does happen. It is
Yes.
very rare. I'll agree with you on that. It's a 1 in a 100,000 thing.
It's way
this is
more
not.
likely for the buyers to lie and script the financing that way.
Yeah, but we're not
And
talking about the
been-
buyers. We're talking
'cause
about-
I've been there, done that so many
no.
times. So
Judging by the cars on your lot, I'm not shocked. I'm going to give them all back. All right, anyways, number 2.
nice dig.
Number 2, bait and switch.
All right.
All right,
Explain
so
this one.
I'll explain this one because it could mean a few things. And now
That's a great graphic.
you like that? I'm glad you do. That's kind of
Did you
not to
make
that
that?
extreme? Yeah,
Or AI did?
AI.
hey,
Okay.
you idiot! You came in for a BMW. You don't make enough for a BMW. Come take a look at a Corolla. That is going to be much more reliable
a
for you.
90s Corolla.
What I'm talking
Yes,
about.
like let me save your life, Sonny
All right,
Jim.
so this is where Tyler's going to shine. These next few are going to be. I'm not
Okay.
going to have a lot of arguments here, but I'm going to say why I don't like this.
Okay.
All right. So basically, what this is it's advertising a too good to be true price on a lease or a buy, only for the customer to come into the dealer and say, "Oh, we only had one of those at that price," and then they try to shoehorn you into a much worse deal. Where in a lot of cases, the car doesn't even exist. Like it never existed. A lot of times, it has a ghost stock number, things like that. It's their way to get you in the dealership. And I hate this because this happened to me with leasing numerous times, where they would advertise a lease on a website, on their website, that says this price, and then you would say, "Okay." You go in there and you get excited and say, "Yeah, okay, I'm giving you the terms. I'll give you the $3,000 down for the 36 months, for the 10,000 miles a year, for the, you know, with all this stuff." And then they come back at this $399 a month is $628, and you're like, "What the hell is this?" And they go, "Well, first off, that's if you have Colorado EV incentives, and if you have, you know, that's not including title, tax, and fees." Well, it says right here with title, tax, and fees. Well, that's a mistake.
You're saying the Colorado EV thing, which was huge because you were shopping leases on Audis in Colorado where they double stacked the EV incentive,
Correct.
where it was $7,500 from the federal government and Colorado giving $7,500, but you're not a Colorado resident,
Yeah, then
so you
why
do
are
not
you
qualify.
But why are you advertising that deal on a Kansas website? Why are you advertising that same price? That's what I ran into. And it wasn't with Audi. It was with Jeep. They were advertising
a dealership in Kansas?
Yes, they were advertising 4 XEs at a certain price as a lease blowout. And it was on this one stock number that had been gone for a year.
Which dealership was this?
I don't want to. Am I allowed to say?
Yes.
It was the Jeep dealership in Augusta.
Parks.
Parks in Augusta. Did
Parks
this.
Motors.
And they basically said, well, I mean, that is something that with all these things added in. And I'm sitting there going, why is it advertised on your
So-
site for this? And they're like, well,
that's a crazy
it's just
example.
something that they do to, and I mean,
Basically, they're saying that if a Colorado resident bought a Jeep from them, then they would qualify for this lease deal.
Correct.
Which is
That's crazy.
absolutely brilliant. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how you get it
Oh
advertised
my
where it's
God.
real. Like that's so
Holy
freaking
shit.
creative.
wow.
That's amazing.
Wow,
By the way-
you're so proud of this.
Also,
That's
Rob, to
amazing.
your point, it did get you in the door.
it didn't. I never went in the door.
Oh, you
That's the
called
thing.
them?
And this is how I'm going to say, no, don't
Rob
you
does
start
one
with,
phone call. Oh, okay, bye.
yes.
Yeah.
And how, no. All right. And how do you, I'm going to say, how do you avoid this? You know how you,
Wait.
What?
You were shopping for a 4XE
from
Jeep Wrangler?
from when the Audi lease expired.
Are
I was
you out of
looking
your
to,
mind?
I was looking to lease my wife another one because they lease cheap. She puts no mileage on it. We never even had to put 240 in the garage because of how little she drives. She'd love
Okay.
it. She gets a blue Jeep. It has that weird kind of clunk when you go. Nobody cares. She's not going to care.
They drive like poop.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
but not-
awful.
Tyler Potter said they were actually pretty good.
I had one as a
And I
rental
trust
car.
Tyler
Yeah.
Potter's Jeep stuff because, I mean, he's a Jeep god.
Okay.
he
well,
is,
you're just
but-
leasing and dumping it,
But
so it
no,
doesn't
the
matter.
whole bait and switch thing, it doesn't just apply to that. I mean, it really doesn't. It's a lot of just, there's so many things that you see and you're like, well, this has to be too good to be true. But for regular buyers, they don't know that. They're like, I can get this for that. And they go drive down to the dealer and they run them around for 2 hours. And they're like, well, that car's sold, but we have this one that has a pinstripe, but it's only 3,000 more. And then you're like, well, I want that deal. Well, it's gone. Well, it never existed. And I hate that. I hate the bait and switch.
I agree with you there, but what you're not factoring in is us being confident car buyers. There's a lot of people there that once they're there and they find out it's not real, they still stick around and are like, oh gosh, well, these guys must know. And they'll still get something else potentially at these dealerships. I've seen it or I've heard about it when somebody's just it's terrified of the salesman. So they're like,
it's a crappy practice.
Oh, well, they didn't have that deal, but he said this one was just as good.
In what world, in what area of life is there not a bait and switch type scenario?
It doesn't make it right.
In what? So
usually beer sales.
Let's
liquor
talk,
sales.
Let's talk.
I sell them that case of wine. They get that case of wine for their advertised price.
Let's talk YouTube at this point.
Okay.
That's a bait and switch.
Clickbaiting.
Yes.
The unbelievable thumbnails, the car is burning to the ground. You click on the video and they had a wire short out. Or, the horrible breakdown and they got a flat tire. This is the world that we live in, and you have to get people's attention. Unfortunately, they can't. Oh boy, you can get a 4xe for $689 a month. Nobody's gonna They have to do this to get people in the door because everybody else is doing it.
So you just condoned clickbaiting.
Yes.
And bait and switching.
Yeah, you just condone both of them. That's okay. It's not okay.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
It's okay.
Well,
No,
I would
it's
say
not
it's
okay.
it's the norm, but
Yes.
it's maybe not okay.
Thank you. It's
I'd
not
say
okay.
it's the new normal.
That's not okay. People want a good car buying. There's a lot of reasons why these little tiny car dealerships in towns like Meade in Kansas that are population and these real small towns, they have these people that constly go there. And you know why it is?
The dealerships that can't afford to feed their families.
Yeah, well,
That's
driving
what
around
Rob
in
buys
$200,000, F750 triple platinum. They're doing all right. They're doing fine.
You want to buy from a car dealer that spends millions of dollars in gambling and
well, yes.
Never mind.
yeah,
we're not going to go into the.
I was gonna say, it's like,
you
we
really
got-
gonna go there?
we gotta
Because
go.
we can go back to number one with the yo-yo financing because that applies.
No.
Because I know people.
Anyway.
All right. So as we've now agreed that number 2 also is bait and switch, also bad. So 2-0, I would say.
Well, no, you have to
Harmless.
ask him, would Tyler do this on
It's
his
harmless.
own dealership?
Yeah, would you do this on your own dealership?
That's got to
No.
be the ending question.
there we go.
So there's one time where that something like this happened.
Okay.
So
Mach
I
one.
did. Did I tell you about the free iPad with purchase promotion that I did 15 years ago?
No, that sounds.
Wait, you
I
did
can't wait.
your own
I
free
can't wait
iPad?
for this.
I am really excited to
So
hear
you
this.
get a free iPad with a purchase of a car. Free iPad. And we would give them a gift card to get an iPad. So obviously, if we had iPads stacked up on a dealership, we'd go home the first night that somebody smashed the window and steal all of our iPads. So we would just give them a Best Buy or get whatever gift card they would want. I started it in the middle of a negotiation with someone on a Ford Mustang. And we started the new month with the iPad purchase and all that stuff. And we made the deal, and at the time, iPads were like $400.
It was the thing. Yeah. It's the
So
new hotness.
it's a kid on a Mustang. We make a deal. He drives off, and his mother says, "Well, where's the iPad?" I said, "Well, we negotiated all of this before the iPad promotion started up, but I bought it when you started the iPad promotion. So, but I gave you $2,000 off the Mustang. I don't there's no money built in for I showed her here's what I paid for the Mustang. Here's what I paid for the repairs. I made $600 on this car. If I give you an iPad, I only make $200 on this car. Where's my iPad?" And then I was like, "I cannot give you an iPad. This was different." So then she said, "Well, I'm going to report you to the Better Business Deal Bureau, to the Car Dealership Bureau, because you're not following through with what you said you're going to do." The kid didn't want an iPad. So I was like,
No, she wanted the iPad.
I was so mad. I said, "You know what? You're right. Bring the Mustang back. I will refund you the money," because I was so mad just on principle. I was not going to do this. "No, we're not bringing the Mustang back. You're giving me the iPad."
Wow.
And
I'm
I-
on your side on this.
You're giving me
the
retail
thing was,
flashbacks.
I had to,
Same.
because I shared the space with another dealer, and it was technically through his dealership. I didn't want his dealership to get in trouble because it was different when we were sharing things. If it was me, okay, I'd say screw you and face the consequences of it. Because if they do report to the dealership bureau, then those guys show up and they check all your paperwork, make sure you've done every single little piece of paper right. And the car wizard, this happened to him, not really a complaint. He just moved locations. And because of the location move, that triggered a little audit from them where they went and checked his paperwork. He missed things, just little innocent things, racked up to $8,000 in fines because he kept forgetting to do one thing over and over again, and they like negotiated it down to like $3,000 for him. So like they can really just beat you over the head with this. So I gave the bitch her iPad.
You gave the who her iPad?
The bitch.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, this is the title that I love,
Right.
Because the anger's still there. Like, yeah, this is coming back to the surface, and I'm on your side.
I'm frustrated with this one too. Like I said,
would not have done this to you. I know you think I'm that bad.
No,
I would not have done that to you.
I hate that. No matter if it's car or whatever, that retail mentality that people have had since the 90s or maybe even the 80s, where it's like, well, I saw the deal, so give it to me, and you're
Right.
like, and then you even explain them reasonably why it's not there.
It's starting to rain, so if you're picking up on the weird
I had
stuff,
one of these sales where it got in trouble. This is just of how prevalent this example was. When I worked at Best Buy selling phones, this was a long time ago, and there was a guy. We released the Black Friday specials, like what's gonna be naturally because you want to do. And this was back when Black Friday was still a big deal, and released it ahead of time. Everybody knew what was the deal, so they could plan the shopping out. And this guy calls, and he says, "Hey, I'm not going to be in town during Black Friday. Give me those deals now." And I'm like, well, that's not how that works, And it was like, no. And he's like, well, I know it's going to be that price, so give me that price now. No. He took it up, and he got up to all the way to like the regional manager, where he just kept calling and bothering everybody. And I was like, I don't care. This is not the way it works. And eventually they were like, you have to give this guy this stuff because he's really causing a big stink. And I'm like, why do we live in a world where and it's like I said, he learned nothing from this experience. He got what he wanted.
but nobody's getting hoodwinked, Rob. There's still, obviously, it's an advertised price. They show up, it doesn't exist. You leave.
Then they're hoodwinked. At that point, they're hoodwinked.
You leave.
But you've been hoodwinked.
You leave.
You said nobody's been hoodwinked.
Oh, man.
Well, then.
Whoa.
Is this still going, though, at least? Did it cut off?
Well, we're back. That was an interesting evening of no power for about 4 hours. We went down to the street and had a beer and some pretzels and things and waited it out. It didn't come back until about 10 minutes after you left, about, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night.
Course.
The second I got home is when you were like, it's back on. I'm like,
Yep. So we're picking this up the next day, and ours are going pretty long as far as you have a list of 10.
I have a list of 10.
We got through 2?
We got through 2, but 3 and 4 are kind of the same.
Okay.
So we'll count 3 and 4 the same.
All right.
I got to get ready because I got to be on my game for this. And now you're ready. I can see you're ready to pounce.
I'm ready.
because
I'm
of how
ready.
dominated you got.
I didn't get dominated. We both agreed on the first 2 that he would not do either one of those to his clients.
Okay.
So therefore, that is a win for me. So now whether he wants to do this one, we'll see.
Okay. That's how we're scoring it. That's fine.
Number 3 and 4 technically as well. Bullshit fees and added value packs. So what these are, basically, what dealerships do, they add profit into their sale with these ridiculous fees that are sometimes made up. And we all know what these are. Paint protection fee, which, great. $500 to $1,000 for them to just wipe it down, maybe put some $50 sealant on it.
That was the $2,000 ceramic coating that I was talking about.
Yes.
And then I go and pick up the car, assuming that if they did the ceramic coating, they do some kind of correction to it. It looked terrible. Like they just put the ceramic coating over a car that needed like a major correction. So I was so angry, even though we'd negotiated that away.
Oh, they're terrible. And then the doc fee. So let's get with the doc fee. So technically, it's a fee that basically is for them to do documents and their processing fees and things of that nature. And I understand a $200 to $300 doc fee. That's that's kind of par for the course. But
To pay for their office person doing the title work.
Correct.
Yes.
But where it loses me is the entire Northeast is famous for $2,000, $3,000 doc fees that they don't show in their prices when you're looking at a car. So you get online and you see a car for, an M6 convertible for $17,900, and the rest of them are all like $19,000. You're like, wow, that's a good deal. Call the dealership. They're like, yeah, we'll sell it to you for that. Are there any added fees? Well, we do have a doc fee of $2,700. Okay, $2,700 for a doc fee.
He's exaggerating.
No, I'm not. This has happened to me.
These guys are doing
when I went around when I was looking at my GTS and I was looking at buying some decent cars, a lot of Northeast cars advertise really good prices, and I'd call them up, and every damn one of them, would have another $2,000 or $3,000, and like, it's mandatory. And I'm like, don't customers hate this? They go, well, yeah, but that's our policy.
What are they going to do about it?
It's prevalent in New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and anybody that's watching from there, you probably have seen this. It is, maybe you haven't run into it. it's garbage.
Then you just build it into the price. I mean, if they're used to it in the Northeast, then that's the way they do business. Obviously, in the Midwest, it wouldn't fly. They don't really do much of that.
No,
so,
but I mean,
yeah.
what they do here in the Midwest is they do a dock fee, and then they do an admin fee,
which is just
another dock fee.
Yeah.
It's another way to call it a dock fee. So it's a cheap way or an easy way for them to get profits doing it that way, just adding these dumb fees. I mean, a nitrogen tire package.
Do you know why?
Why?
It's because of people like you.
Oh, yeah. People doing what? Because what do I do, Tyler?
Going around and shopping the price on a new car to where the deal is so thin that they make absolutely no money.
But does that-
there's no
does
money
that
on there's no money
justify-
in new cars. There's no money in new cars anymore.
I will agree with that. That is true, and that's why
What
they're
if it's-
making their money in the service department and other ways like this. I get that.
What new car are we talking about? This is used cars. This is all used car stuff.
Oh, but they started with new franchise dealerships, and then it trickles down
Right, but
to
this
used
is all
car
used
dealers.
car stuff. All this $2,000 Northeast stuff. This is all on used cars.
They have to do it on all of them. So, but it's from new car prices and everybody beating each other up on the internet where they're making $100 on a $100,000 car. So without these fees, they are smoked.
You mean the same car that they took in trade for, $8,000, probably less than they should have?
What are you talking about?
Like what I'm talking
I feel
about.
like you guys are talking new
You're
used.
talking theoretical.
Well, I'm saying you're worried about the dealer and their profit margin, but they've got so many other tricks that we've already talked about and ones we haven't that they make plenty of money. They're doing fine
not.
to not work.
Dealers are not doing well right now.
Well,
They
maybe
are-
not right now.
They are not doing well. Car prices are very, very expensive because the manufacturers raised rates. So there was a point where, yes, dealers were getting really greedy charging these outrageous fees. And now they're reaping what they sow. They are so screwed because the manufacturers raised the prices on the cars because the dealers were selling Kia Tellurides for $10,000 over. They were selling everything for so much over sticker that the manufacturers are like, well, we're just going to raise the prices and get the money ourselves. So now these dealers and these salesmen are stuck and barely, like, they're not even surviving right now.
But they're still doing it though. I mean, is it like, okay, for a $200 nitrogen tire fee, does anybody want to take a guess at how much nitrogen is in the air we breathe right now?
It's most of
How
the
much?
air.
A
It's
percentage?
It's like 80% or something
Close.
ridiculous, right?
78%.
Okay,
so you're paying $200 for 22% more nitrogen.
The one that really ticked me off, and it was in California. Sorry, I'm taking a drink. And it was a Buick Park Avenue Ultra. Very low mileage that they took on trade at a Toyota dealership. And they wanted 10 grand for it. And I was going to give them the 10 grand for it. The problem is they put the paint protection, the door edge guards, they put low jack on it and charged
It's on my list.
like
It's on my
$1,500
list.
for low jack. They're like, it's coming to Kansas. I don't need low jack. Take it out. We can't.
It's already
Exactly.
there.
It's already
We
in.
can't do anything
That's
about
the
it.
value,
Yeah.
already added value pack.
It turned into $13,000. I was like, and it was.
You agree with me?
But I just didn't buy it.
But you agree with me, right? But it's a shady practice.
I
It
just
is a
didn't-
shady practice because a lot of these the added value packs, we'll touch on that real quick. That is, like you just said, window etching, Scotch Guard, which Scotch Guard was important in 1978. It's not as much now.
Right.
But it's not in the price of the car that they advertise online. It ends up getting added once you've gone and looked at the car and you like the car, and they bring you that, that sheet. And it has it all of a sudden. There's another $2,000, and you're like, "What's this?" Well, it's a added value pack.
It's because of the consumers and how they shop, and they want to feel like they're getting a
blame it on the
screaming deal.
consumers.
So
Yeah,
they want
well,
to see what they want to see is I'm getting this car for $20,000 off sticker. They want to brag to everybody about it.
Damn right.
They want to feel like they're completely killing these dealers, and then they make the little bit back in fees. Because that's how most people want to shop for a car. The consumers have created this environment where these fees have to happen. And also because of bad credit people in bad situations, they have to build in these fees for the extra risk tolerance on these cars because they have to advertise it for a certain price. But then, there's bad. Anyway, it's
Okay, I see that to
it
a
exists
point.
because of the
I
consumers.
see that to a point. Okay, so would you do either one of these to your clients? An added value pack that they were forced to buy without putting it in the price of the car that you advertise, or bullshit fees?
My dealership was not targeting that kind of buyer. So I didn't do it.
Okay, so that's 3 and 4. So really,
So that's a victory for you?
I would say I will take it as a victory because that's now 4.
I think
But if
the
I
overall
owned a
thing is listen to-
Nissan store, say if I owned a Nissan store or a Kia store, yeah, absolutely.
But would you do
Yes.
the $2,000 dock fee knowing it's a $300 dock fee?
Well, you couldn't do that in Kansas.
Well,
But
true. I guess here
whatever
you
it would
wouldn't.
be, it would be
You wouldn't get away with it.
$600-800 probably in Kansas. Whatever the most we could. Yes, absolutely.
Some of the
Yes.
stuff that they do, like, and I hear what he's saying. It's like basically you worked when you were working for a franchise dealership. You worked in probably the last era where salesmen made money legitimately.
Yes.
Now you have sales goals and all these things, but you don't make hundreds of dollars per car you move.
No, I could
as
make
a salesman.
on an Escalade. I could make $1,000, $1,500
That's what I'm saying.
when
It
they
was-
first came out in 2007, and same with nice loaded up trucks. And when they realized how much money they were making, they introduced the whole thing of the pack to where they built it in extra cost on the salesmen themselves and took away, and all of a sudden these $1,000, $1,500 trucks became me making $300 to $500 because they didn't want people making, because there was like $10,000 of profit in Escalade back then.
Gotcha.
But now, like,
Now they have
want-
to pretty much sell them at invoice because
Yeah,
everyone knows that, and it's a good thing, the power of information, because as you know, as you exercise greatly, is you shop around and everyone kind of has, especially for a car you're looking at, you're like, I know how much these are, and that awareness gives people that thing we were talking about on, well, I was going to say the other day, but earlier in the episode, where people are like, I know how much it costs, so I expect it to be that much. You need to move for that.
And Rob, you don't want the Tesla model. You don't want what Scion used to be, where the price is the price. CarMax.
no haggle. Yeah, the no haggle.
CarMax, the no haggle strategy.
No, I don't want that. And I get that. I don't want that. And I see what you're saying. And I do see that there is a reason to be upset for the buyers, because the buyers are partially responsible for this when you go around looking for the best deal. And also, it does fall on the responsibility of the buyers at the dealerships. If they bought a used car bad, if they're in it high, and then they have to sell it high, they can't really. And then you walk in, or I walk in and go, well, I can get one down the street for $4,000 less. They're going to have to say, go get it, because they
you
paid
walk.
$4,000 more. So I get that.
You walk. You're an informed buyer.
I get that.
Most of the time, people are buying a car once every 5 or 10 years.
This is for uninformed buyers, is what
Right,
I'm going.
correct.
People that just walk in and they're like, oh, $200 for nitrogen tires. I love it. Because I mean, I've had people walk up to me and they're showing me their car and they're like, yeah, I got the nitrogen tire package, and I'm like,
Right. No,
oh
they're
my
more
God.
happy that they got $3,000 to $5,000
Yes.
off that sticker price, and they feel really good about it.
Yes.
But there were $2,000 in fees baked in of things
course.
of paint protection, nitrogen tires, admin, dock fee, to where the dealer made that money back, but then psychologically the buyer feels good because they got so much off the sticker price.
Right.
So it's psychological. It works. If it didn't work, dealers wouldn't do it.
well, and all these things work, obviously. Are they a little bit immoral? Sure, but they work. I'm not going to argue that.
Well, I think, like I said, I think you made a good point. You have to remember, 90% of car buyers are not seasoned car buyers. You remember, this is a once every decade thing for a lot of folks. So they're just kind of, and then a lot of people, right or wrong, treat dealership as, well, these guys are the experts, so I trust that they're telling me the truth, and they just kind of, they will go along with a little bit more than a seasoned buyer.
If let's say, somebody that I know that doesn't buy a lot of cars walks in, they're going to go, I trust the dealer to sell me a car at a good price. If I walk into a dealership,
It's when the power went out.
I was gonna
nice.
say, Tyler's just flashing
Tyler's already
himself over
losing
there.
interest.
And I'm flashing everybody because I decided to wear shorts today.
Yeah, great
Oh,
call.
that's right.
Yeah, Tyler's.
Yeah, we came in the middle of work when you're wearing shorts.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
It's hot out, guys.
The
It's
memes
summer.
are coming. Yes.
No, don't worry. I'll just next page.
Anyway,
will go
yeah,
right over you.
what's next? Yeah, that's a good spot
so
for them.
That's 3 and 4.
Okay.
5, I'm going to lose, and I'm going to openly admit that I'm going to lose this one.
Okay.
I have some good arguments, but I will lose this. And 5
Okay.
is the ever famous market adjustment, or as we know it, ADM. So, and the
some
reason
thoughts.
why there's a lot of different things about this that I kind of like. It's tough for me because I get it on a collectible car. If it's a one-off, if it's something that is, crazy hype, I can understand ADM. I understand a markup on that because, again, this might be my only chance to get this. That's where I'm okay. Where I'm not okay is when you're talking about like kind of COVID, where everything was ADM, because they had shortages. I understand that. But they also had used cars, which went nuts. But there were Sonatas and Camrys and Hyundais that were selling for $5-10 over sticker.
Because there wasn't inventory. So what little inventory they had, they needed to sell to make as much money as possible. So the dealerships weren't, they were raking it in, but they had 10% of the inventory that they normally did.
Didn't they get bailed out by the government too, though?
What?
They got bailed out by the government, didn't they?
Everybody got bailed out by the government.
There you go. So
everybody got
help.
everybody got
Good.
loans.
Good. So they didn't need to go $10,000 on a Hyundai Sonata. They were selling used cars, were they not? Used cars were going
The
crazy.
salesman didn't get a bailout from the government. The managers didn't get a bailout.
But were they not? Were used cars not selling?
They had one car where they normally had 10, and they made the profit on the one car. It was, and also you're talking about modern, of course. You said. The sucker dealer that sells the ZR1 Corvette for MSRP, what is that buyer going to immediately go do?
Flip it.
Flip it. What every single special Porsche that's ever come, the flipper market is just insane.
And that's
so
why
is the dealer going to do it, or is the buyer get to do it? Why does the buyer get to make all this money?
And
Because
that's why I said I would lose this, because I agree with you on that. My problem was strictly with a bunch of normal cars that were getting overinflated. And granted, some of them I understand $2,000-3,000 during COVID. I understand that on a Camry.
Yeah.
I don't understand 10.
Yeah.
You're going to lose me there.
An idiot that paid $10,000 over for a Kia Telluride. You knew they were idiots.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I don't like. And I'm going to give a little plug, because I think, during all of this, obviously, we bought a Lightning together, which was probably the first Lightning in Wichita. I had the first new Bronco in Wichita, and Mel Hambleton Ford. When I went in there to buy it, both of them, they sold it to me at sticker. I got to build them both at sticker, knowing that they knew that likely that was going to be the first one. And they just said, and I'm nobody. I'm not you. I'm certainly not Jake. I'm nobody. So literally, they were like, no, that's not what we do here.
Well, and Hatchet wasn't doing it either with Hyundais and things.
Correct.
Genesis.
I also want to mention on the Bronco thing, I distinctly remember being at a lunch with you when you were offered $30,000 over what you paid for that Bronco, and you said no. And I thought that was still the stupidest thing I've ever.
Why do you bring that up?
Because I want Courtney to hear that. Because your wife is up here watching.
Why would you bring that up?
Because I just still couldn't. Everyone was like, "Yeah, Rob, obviously do that," and you're like, "No, I have the first one. I'm gonna get it." And that's part of what makes.
Well, speaking of Courtney, she found you on that website last night.
Good.
Are we dating the same person?
Yes,
She
I
was
told you.
excited to see you were on there. Lots of good compliments on that.
No, I've read them. Yeah,
no, they're not great.
Either way.
Anyways,
she's up there off camera. They're covering her face.
So I paid a small markup on the Z06 Corvette, the C8 Z06.
Yes, I remember.
I paid was it $15,000 or $20,000 or whatever. Had it for 6 months, enjoyed the thing, took it to Barrett Jackson, and it sold for it was a $50,000 or $70,000 over, something like that. To where after the auction fees, I made a little bit of money, but not very much. But I got to have a Corvette Z06 for free for 6 months.
And early, it was probably one of the first ones in town that.
it was an early one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was very early.
Well, the Lightning. Well, didn't
Lightning
we
might
made
have been the
we
first
made
one.
money off of that, didn't we? We sold it. We did a couple
we got
grand.
out. We got out.
But
yeah.
remember what happened?
Yes, the battery bricked the moment we traded it
the
in.
moment. I mean, it was.
Amazing.
I'm sitting at a Chili's, and I still had my Ford Pass on my phone, and we had just traded and just gotten the check. Literally just gotten the check, and all of a sudden my Ford Pass dings and is like critical failure, and I was like,
Yeah.
not on us.
Yeah, the Tesla Cybertruck, I got $10,000 over because at one point it was $100,000 over, and I barely got out with that.
You lucked out twice on those. And have you seen now? There's like a report. There's like I forgot how many hundreds of Z06s are now sitting on lots right now. I mean, I know it's a lot of hype for the ZR1 and stuff like that, but I just remember the Z06 being the it car, and people paid 50 over easily.
I would
Oh,
love
for
to
sure.
own one again.
Yeah,
when
it's
they're 30 to 50 back of their MSRP, I feel
Oh,
like
absolutely.
I'll own one again.
And I'll preface all of this by saying that, like, again, I agree with you on all of that. The Corvette Z06s, all the crazy, the Shelby Raptor Rs, all those
Right.
crazy things. I understand that. My issue was just with people taking a $2,000, $3,000, ADM during COVID that they turned into a $10,000, $15,000 on a boring normal car. That is a shady tactic that they use, and it works. Maybe they had to use it. Doesn't make it right. In my
Consumers
opinion.
were willing to do it.
Well, of course,
and
and
there was
that's on the
less
consumer.
inventory to where salesmen, what few deals they were getting were big old whales. They were doing okay, but they weren't now they
Right.
can do volume again.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so that one, I'm going to give you that one. I figured I would lose that one, and I did in a sense because, yeah, you're right. It ultimately, it's the buyer. If you're that dumb and you want to spend 20 over to get to be the first to have something, that's your 20 grand to spend over.
And that's what it is a lot of these people are willing to pay to be the first. You know that's what it is. They know, like, I know I'm paying more than the car's worth or will be worth, because I want to be the first.
Yeah, but imagine-
Sometimes being, I have the first one in town, it means so much to somebody on a special car, especially. That
Yeah, but what about that
they're willing
schmuck
to do
who
it.
bought a Sonata for 10 over?
And I don't agree
How's
with
he
that.
doing right now?
Yeah, I don't agree with that, because
I
it's
mean,
like,
that
yeah,
car's
especially like I
netting.
said, the
You're
Kia
gonna-
Telluride is the perfect example. Yes, it was a hot new car. Everyone did want it, and supplies were limited, but it was like, it's still, there's going to be a million of them one day. It was never going to be.
sooner than later.
they're already just
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
tanking.
It was never going to be a good idea.
And it's 100 going on 100,000 miles at this point, and it's a Kia, so they're doing what
Oh,
they do.
yeah.
So these people
They're
that
failing.
paid $60,000 for it are now seeing like $20,000 bids on their cars
Oh, yeah, and
in
they
3
owe
years.
48, and they're just done.
They're smoked.
Exactly.
Okay, so number 6. This one I did not know. Like, I did not understand how this works, and it kind of pissed me off. And it is interest rate shenanigans. Now, you might know this. I did not know this. So
Yeah.
what happens is the bank approves the buyer for one rate. So you buy a car, and the bank will approve the rate to the dealership. The dealership will come and say, "I got you approved at 7%." And the buyer doesn't know any different. Okay, my payment looks good. Everything looks good. They go home. They don't worry about it. But honestly, what happened was the bank approved at 5%. The dealer pockets the 2% with the bank and then passes that 2% on to you, unbeknownst that you actually got a better rate. And you could have gotten a lower price and you didn't know it.
Yeah, is that legal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's legal, and I didn't realize that could happen.
Yes.
And that's shitty. That's really shitty.
Yes, I mean, it's
I
really
agree.
important that you go in pre-approved with your own financing. Obviously, there's some manufacturer incentives, but for me, like, because I always get pre-approved through Credit Union of America.
Same here.
And then
all I use.
but I let the dealer do the deal with their financing. Hey, because they get a commission. So they'll make a $500 commission by doing the deal with credit union. So I'll say, hey, I know I'm pre-approved for this, but you guys can run it through your dealership so you get the commission, but I'm approved at this rate. Don't mess with it. And they don't. They never have. But there's people that don't know this.
Yeah, again, you're a seasoned buyer.
There's people that don't know this. Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't, because I'm a seasoned buyer, and I did
Right,
not know
correct.
that. I
Well,
did not know that.
So, and I think also, if you think about it, for people who don't know, until they're made aware of it, I think the general person, especially because it's one of the first questions a salesman will even ask, an inexperienced car buyer, is, what's your targeted monthly payment a month? Whatever it is. And as long as it's around that number, an unseasoned buyer doesn't care. They're like, I don't know what's happening beyond that. All I know is it's within my budget that I wanted. And no, is it cool that it's happening? No.
This one sucks, and I agree. This one sucks.
This
And
one's
as
tough.
being a salesman at a dealership, the salesman didn't get this. This is all
No, the bank.
This is the finance
This is the
dude.
finance dude. The
Yeah.
guy sitting in the finance desk is the one that's doing this, and the managers and making the money. So that's why we know one guy that was a finance manager at a Kia dealership, and he had a Murcielago
And an
Aventador at one
Yeah.
point working at a Kia delership, and you're like, how is this happening? Well, then this
Good
is
at his
why.
job. He's really good at his job.
I do recall that, man, and I was always confused about that.
I think everybody was. I think that way we can all agree with that.
Because they were getting people approved at 3% and getting them 7-8%, and he was making hundreds of dollars every single person that came in his finance
Every
office, which finance
transaction.
guys are very busy, because there's always someone coming in,
and
you're selling extra stuff.
And the banks are somewhat responsible for this too, because they're giving them the kickbacks. I mean, that's kind of
Correct. It
It's
shouldn't.
both of them. And
Yeah,
they
it'd
should
be like,
and the
whatever
fact
it's
that-
actually agreed upon, whatever.
How's
It's
that
still-
legal? I mean, just how's that legal?
That's what I was
don't
questioning. I
understand
was like,
that. But it is. It is legal.
Wild.
So we all agree on that one. Number 7, I think we're probably going to be a little bit disagree, and that is recon nightmares on used cars, which reconditioning used cars.
Okay.
So this is basically slapping together temporary fixes to turn a car for a quick profit, hiding poor damage fixes, neglecting wear items like brake pads, tires, fluid changes. Basically just saying, yeah, we've reconned the car and everything. It's great. It's good to go out the door. Where they've just taken it in off auction, didn't even put it on a lift and just shoved it back out the door, saying it went through a full inspection. And it happens a lot more than you'd want to admit.
Sure.
I mean, it's a normal thing. And it's, again, this is one where, again, it is on the buyer. But again, if you're not an experienced buyer, you're not going to... a lot of people trust the dealership,
That's what I'm saying.
especially
You think of them as the expert. You go, well, the man said it was okay, so
right.
it
And
must
especially
be.
the ones that have shops attached to them. Now, the ones that don't is a whole different story. That would be one where obviously you're going to want to, a buyer, a seasoned buyer would say, hey, can I take this car to an independent shop and have it inspected
Get
on
a
my dime?
PPI, get a PPI on your Corolla.
Yeah. Well, you don't call it a PPI on
So-
the Corolla because they won't know what that is.
Once again, Chicago and this Tesla, and it was Chicago Fine Motors, not Chicago Motor Cars, that sold me the Veyron. So it's a little confusing, but they had like a reconditioning fee, I believe, like a recon fee for the inspection and all that stuff. I pick up the Tesla, which Tesla's
What do you do?
whatever.
Yeah.
The one thing they could look at is the tires.
Right.
The
Everything else
tires are showing cords when I pick this thing up, and I had to drive it home. I was stuck, but it was so bad that it was bumpy.
So you paid for them to recon check your car to find out that the tires were great, only to find out that the tires were corded.
I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I don't want to get sued, obviously, if I'm wrong, but because I'm just
Allegedly. All this is
remembering.
allegedly.
It's maybe not, but I think it was on there. But either way, they missed the tires. They could. I mean, 1 second on the lift, they would have seen that the tires had cords on it. And when I picked it up, and they knew I'm a YouTuber buying this car from them, and I'm driving it cross country back to Kansas. You think it would behoove them to do this, but
Nothing.
nothing.
And that's,
I think it's even more funny on a Tesla because, like you said, it's like tires and maybe washer fluid.
yeah, what else you gonna
Like,
look
I don't know
for?
what else- yeah,
Make
yeah,
sure the
so
door handles pop out.
it's
I
like,
mean, what else you got?
What are you doing? And then they're like, we noticed that the tires were corded. We noted it, and $200, please.
So a dealer selling Hoopty saying it's been reconditioned. That's a tale as old as time as far as a used car being a gamble. And it's always going to be a gamble.
It is, and most states it's as is. A lot of people the war is it's an as is deal. I think Kansas gives you 10% for a month. You get like, I believe that there's like a limited thing that Kansas allows where if something goes, that they're responsible for 10% or something. It's very limited. Whatever
But
it is, very small.
I would.
What is it? 5% parts and labor.
I
Thank you,
would
Jake.
tell people it's the 10-10, I think, is the minimum. But yeah, I would tell people that I don't have a crystal ball that can look inside of a transmission and say it's going to fail next week. The water pump is currently not leaking on this car. When I sold it to you, it's not leaking. I don't know. The moment you drive the lot, it could explode. It's a used car.
Yep.
It's a
Right,
used car.
and that's the whole thing of the as is. And what I would say to people that are looking at buying cars is if it's at a shop or at a dealership that has no shop, you go to the dealer and say, can I get this inspected on my dime at my independent mechanic? If they balk, you walk. That's it.
That's a good. It rhymes even.
If they balk, you walk. And look at that.
So
you
would
disagree with that?
There were people where I would ask them, where are you going to take it? And there were a few shops, like if they said they were going to take it to a Midas or a Meineke or that kind of thing, I'd say, no, don't do that. Take it to a specialist because this is because one time I had this Ford Thunderbird. It was mid 90s, low mileage and all that stuff. Drove great. I mean, everything about this thing. It was really nice, but it was original. So they take it to a Midas or a Meineke for an inspection for a kid's first car. Sure, fine. They came back, slapped this thing on the table. This thing needs $3,000 worth of work. They wanted to replace all the suspension because all the bushings were worn out. The shocks, there's some small, very minor oil leaks to do all this stuff, and all in $3,000. How could you sell this thing? So, well, did the suspension feel? No, but they said it needs all this. And they're like, well, a leak from the oil pan. Like, well, let's look at the oil pan. Yeah, the oil pan's a little bit wet. This is a 20-year-old Ford Thunderbird. Mm-hmm. It's not.
To be expected.
It's not dripping.
No.
Yeah.
But they absolutely villainized me. Like I was trying to sell this kid a bad car.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like there's different levels of what your expectations. This is like a $5,000 car that people are expecting me to make brand new.
Right.
No.
Right.
And I
No,
can see
you
it
can't-
from that
You can't
point.
do that. And also, then you got to look at it from that point. And I think you make a good point. If you take it to a Midas or a Meineke or whatever, a quick lube, if you want to call it that, they're in business to make money. It's literally their job to recommend the most things they can, so that way somebody might agree to a quarter of it. And you can't treat that as a PPI.
And I had a Bavarian which is a well-respected BMW dealer here in town. This is 15 plus years ago. I don't know if they messed up. They're having a bad day. I just put brand new brakes on this BMW 530, and this guy bought it. He said, I'm going to take it out of a variant for inspection. Perfect. Absolutely. That's the right place to get inspected. Came back. Hey, they said it needs new brakes. Like, I got the rotors and pads. They're installed. They're in. Let's look at the brakes. Feel the rotor. Look at the pad. It was new brakes, and they said that it needed brakes.
What?
That's what I don't know if they were trying to sell something.
Oh, the wind.
Ghost.
Jake.
You got ghosts again.
The door opened. Sucked it up because the air conditioning turned on. But anyway, next, yes.
Okay. Now,
but that's the tale as old as time. A shady dealer selling crappy cars.
And
yes.
you also have to remember, as car guys, I'm sure you guys have traded in or gotten rid of cars that you knew were imminent failures.
Yes.
And so remember, then that story disappears with you.
Right. They think they have a car that's about to explode. They know the transmission's slipping.
You traded in a CarMax with somebody who doesn't care.
They'd feel no guilt about not disclosing it to a dealer when they're trading it in.
Correct.
That this car is about to die. There's no guilt. There's no disclosure from people ever.
Right.
And then they go through the auction, and it does eventually find its way to some person that has to hold the bag, whether it be the dealer or it be the person they sold it to. And a lot of times I encounter this because I buy the cars and there's a huge issue, and I just junk it because I'm not going to be the guy that just takes it off to some random anonymous auction and somebody's life is ruined by this car.
Right.
Even though it's another dealer or whatever. So I don't do that anymore.
And I could just as easily do a top 10 list of shadiest things that buyers do to unload a car in a dealership. Because that's true. There's a whole segment for that.
And that's why I brought it up. I was like, you have to remember there's the flip side of that is what's being injected into this situation where nobody knows.
Right.
And Tyler's right.
But there are some of these.
But yes, there are some where yes.
There's my X6M.
Oh, look
where that was dumped at auction after somebody swapped in a non-M engine, barely cobbled it to where it was running, so it could be a run-and drive to go through an auction.
The ultimate bait and switch.
It was unbelievable. Yeah.
There was a non-M motor thrown in that.
And I don't know how they got it running and because it was hemorrhaging oil and things because the fittings didn't match up, and they just somehow they figured it out.
Unbelievable.
And like you said, it's something that presents okay at auction can get through a lot.
Yep. It can. So number 8. This one again is going to be one where I think that it's on the buyer. I mean, and I understand that, but I don't like it anyways, and that's rebate hoarding. And so with rebate hoarding, what that is basically is a dealership sells you the car with an advertised price, and then you go home and the next day you're, looking or on the TV, they're like, Ford F-150s, 10,000 off right now. And then you're like, wait a minute. You go back and look at your paperwork and there's no 10,000 off on this one. And the dealership did not tell you about the rebate. They just pocketed it. Now, on the buyer, I get that. Buyer didn't do his homework, didn't realize there's a nationwide rebate. That being said, the manufacturers put those out to sell trucks and cars. I don't think that they want the dealerships just pocketing that money only for the poor suspecting buyer to buy it, go home, and then be like, wait a minute. Not only did I get screwed, but now my truck's worth $10,000 less because there's a 30-day or 60-day rebate going on.
That seems really rare.
It's not that rare.
I feel like this is rare, and I feel like it's another one where it's these unformed kind of credit rat buyers where they're probably not going to make it through the loan anyway if they're that thick.
Fair. I mean, it does happen. I mean, I was reading stories about it happening. It is on the buyer, because a lot of times the buyer, I mean, if you're gonna, and I say this to everybody who's buying a car, is do your research. Always do your research. Don't just be like, ooh, I got a new job, I'm gonna go to the dealership and pick out something shiny. Easiest way to end up upside down is doing that. Sure. Do your research. Type in, it doesn't take long. I think Auto Tempest and all these places, they usually will tell you what's offering current rebates. It's not hard. CarMax does it. I mean, it's easy to find all the rebates in the country on these cars. And then you can say, is it eligible in this state? Or
I would imagine it's a lot of people that are going in worried about getting approved because they're kind of on a shaky credit situation, and they build in the profit up front for them with the rebates, and because basically all the money they're going to get is going to be up front because these people will default on their loans. And that's the thing, with the buy here, pay here is charging 28% interest or all that stuff. these people never complete their loans.
Never.
Right. Well, and they get to sell the car again.
Yeah, and then they make all their money selling the same car 5 times.
Yeah.
So whatever they
Over and
collect
over
up
again.
front is their profit, and the cars get trashed because people
That's
don't
true.
they don't
Yeah.
care, they
Right.
don't take care of it. So it's a revolving door, and I get that people get stuck in these situations, but you look at so many, and it's such self-inflicted wounds on a lot of them.
True.
But the thing is, now with the economy the way it is, there's a lot more people that were in the responsible territory as far as like doing everything right, but now everything's so much more expensive that they're now in that bottom rung just trying to
Oh, I
claw
think you're
their
right.
way.
And I think, I can say that, I think one of the best feelings in the world that I ever had was having 645 credit and getting approved on a car. That's happened. I was, in my 20s, my credit was not great. And I would get no'd a lot. And then all of a sudden, there's a bank that my credit was like 640. And they're like, yeah, you're approved. It was probably like 8%, but you're approved. And I'm excited because I'm like, hell yeah, I got approved. All right, I got it. And I didn't give a flying what about what the terms were because I finally got approved on something. There's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah. Well, it was weird for me because I'd never had a car loan in my life up until 27 years old. My parents were lucky to give me some cars, but then I was just buying hoopties for cash, and I had my own car dealership. So I had a dealership line of credit that I had my mortgage, but I had never had a car loan. And there was an Acura ILX lease for $200 and something a month.
Always aggressive on the leases.
For the first baby mama to drive, and it was a great deal. I didn't get approved at first because I'd never had any kind of car credit before.
That's wild.
So then they had to call. They eventually got it approved, but initially I was denied because I'd never had a car loan before. And they're like, look at the guy's income, look at his mortgage, look at like this.
Yeah,
and yet they're looking
It's a
at this thing over
$200
here.
something lease, and he's got $3,000 to put down. And
Unbelievable.
they eventually, okay, so then they did it, but initially it was just like no, because he has no car credit.
So back to the rebate thing. I can see, and I don't think it's okay. I can see a salesman withholding the rebate information a little bit if you're like on the edge, and then you go, well, I know you're kind of waffling about this, but what if I told you there's actually a $5,000 rebate on these just this week only? As another
gross.
Yeah.
You go for the gross. We would call them a laydown if they just walked in and did whatever you wanted. And it was a rare, beautiful thing.
Like there's literally I just won the whole damn argument. There's a term for screwing all these poor people.
Once a
Wow.
month.
A laydown.
Yeah, the laydowns. Oh, these
Once
poor
a month, you
bastard
get a customer
laydowns.
that just laid down
Wow.
and gave it to you. Like
Unbelievable.
it was like, yeah, that's what we called them, laydowns.
laydowns.
Hey, I've known a
Good
few
Lord.
of those.
Yeah, the poor dealership is just barely making it by, and you got to do what they got to do for crumbs.
Okay, when he was
Until-
when he was at he was at the Chevy Cadillac dealership, everything was a-okay back then.
Well, I'm sure there were
Great.
laydowns that went into
So,
there.
Guess what? I made $1,000, $1,500 on that person. The
On a
next
laydown.
5 cars, I would make a $200 or $300 mini on it. And so it all balances out.
Yeah, and I think I'm the only human being that we know that buys cars at the best prices you've ever seen and still finds a way to lose
Due to
money.
harassment, though.
And then loses
harass
money
your
on them when
way
he sells
into-
them to friends for literally
Yes,
nothing.
you sell them to other dealers, and then they make a massive profit on you rather than you putting it on cars and bids
Yeah, it's your
or
dealer
doing something
friends,
on your
too.
own. You're too impatient to put your 66 Mustang on Bring a Trailer and get $10,000 more for it. I was willing to give you $5,000 more for it.
2.
You forgot.
2.
5.
You said
And
30.
you forgot.
30.
You
Trying to save
forgot.
face.
You needed money. You were impatient, and you sold it to Lauer immediately. I'm so mad about that Mustang. There's so many other instances where it's like if you
Why
just
did I do
waited
that?
a week, take a few
Why did I
photos.
do that?
You got Jake right here to probably take some photos for you for free just to be your buddy.
Folks, for you listening,
I tried to give him a-
or on now. If Rob's wife is up in the balcony above, giving him such a look. Oh, this is so great to hear.
I can't wait. I've got to. I
And
literally
you have to take a
5-hour
road trip.
drive from here with this.
Anywho,
Anywho, all right. So finally, the last one, because there's 2. 9 and 10 are the same.
Okay.
So we're gonna put them together, and one of these things has happened to me. So I know this happens, even though I never thought this happened until it happened to me. And then the other one drives me effing insane, and that is the "we've lost your keys," which happened to me. So you can't sit there and say it's
in
rare.
1987,
1998.
There you go.
It happened to me.
Yes.
And let me talk to my manager, the manager dance.
That's normal.
No, it shouldn't be. It's bullshit. And I'll tell you why. Let's start with the we've lost your keys.
It's getting elevated over here.
I am, because that happened. I'm so mad about this. What happens is a dealership, they go to take your car for a test drive to give it, to give you, what they want to give you for your trade-in value and all that.
Give a little shakedown.
And they make you wait longer than you would normally wait to go through the car. They'll drive it around and they'll look over it, and they might throw it on a lift. If it's a nicer car, they're going to do that. If not, probably not. And then they add 30 minutes of, having a beer, watching some golf or whatever the hell they do while you sit there and stew. And then they come back with what I always love is, and we all know this, the first offer, which this also goes into let me talk to my manager. They come with that stupid white sheet with the number in black Sharpie.
Four square.
Yeah.
Yes, with the 4 square with the circled
They
number.
got a circle. I was going to say, it's like they circle it.
Absolutely batshit garbage. It's almost the worst thing you could ever see. Like the fact that if whoever takes that deal on the first shot, A, deserves it, and B, should just get hit by a bus when they leave.
You love this dance.
No, I don't love this dance.
Well, then go to CarMax and buy a car because you want a deal.
No, I want a deal, but I don't want that garbage.
You go to CarMax, go to a no haggle deal, go to Walzer. That's our local luxury dealer in town.
There's a difference, and this
haggle.
is where I get pissed. So the we've lost your keys thing, we're getting back to that. So these poor people, they get this deal. They're like, oh, that's complete shit. I don't want that. So then they go, okay, well, let me go talk to my manager. So it kind of comes together. And then they wait another 30 minutes, and then they bring you popcorn and a soda because they all got them popcorn machines in there, and their popcorn's crap. It's trash popcorn. If you're going to make someone wait, give them good popcorn.
You're from New York.
I'm sorry.
You raise your voice and you start dropping F-bombs. Your keys magically appear.
But it didn't in these stores. And mine didn't.
Raise your voice, start dropping F-bombs, the keys show up.
So what happens is the second time they come back and it's another bad deal. Well, at this point, the customer or me says, I'm done with this. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to go home. Or, sometimes you do the whole, I'm going to talk to my wife, because ultimately you got to get past that. It's an easy out. But then they're like, all right, we'll go get your keys. Well, then 30 minutes goes by and they come back and they're like, well, we've misplaced your keys. Just give us a bit. I'm sorry. We don't know what we did with it. Your car's out front, and the car's right there. Like they get it to where you can see the car on the other side of the glass. You're like, I'm almost free, but you can't because there's no keys. Well, then instead of the salesman, the manager then comes and sits down with his bigger Sharpie, which is great that they give the manager a fat Sharpie and the salesman gets the shitty, thin Sharpie.
Yeah, he's got a Magnum.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got the one that actually
the big one.
smells.
And so now the manager then comes with the third deal, which is still garbage. And you're like, no, at this point, I just want my car back. And for me, it was an hour and 45 minutes start to finish, which was not as bad as some of the ones that I read about that were to the point where they had to call the police to come get their stuff back. That happened.
That's pretty crazy.
Happened multiple times. Now, that's all I'm going to say about we've lost your keys. Well, the let me talk to your manager thing infuriates me. Don't give me the good cop, bad cop thing where the salesman's on your side versus the manager,
and they're like,
who's trying to make a buck.
He's breaking my balls back there.
Right, and that's what it is. No, because we know that the salesman wants to make as much money.
Every single car dealership, and I couldn't remember what it's called, a TO, but it means turnover. And the salesman will get fired if a deal is not being made with the salesman. There has to be a manager that comes by and at least greets the customer and sees where they need to be before they go. And that is industry standard nationwide. And it's normal because the manager, obviously, they started out as a salesman. They know what they're doing. They need to hear directly from the consumer, why are we not making this deal today? It's a reasonable thing for someone to do. And if you're, a pussy, and
what? Everybody, even my wife chirped up at that one.
Anyway,
I've never heard you say someone was a pussy.
No,
that's
he's right. I get what he's going here for. Here. Let him finish.
If you can't get angry and make a scene when someone's doing something really scummy, and you're just letting this all happen to you, then.
Okay, I have your back on that. But what I'll say is this, and this is the dance that you say I love to do. The part I don't love about it is, do you think this dance started when I walked into that dealership. And that's where I get pissed, because it doesn't. And it never does. It never does. Where it starts.
You're scared looking at your wife so much in this podcast.
Well, because I put her through 8 hours to get a car just to get that Flex.
Yeah.
She's stuck there with Brooklyn at like barely, a year old.
Ron, you put in a full work day to get a
Flex. To get a Flex that we kept for a month after she was all excited about it. She's like, this is the best thing ever. And then my buddy's like, wow, nice school bus teacher. And then she wanted to get rid of it.
Unfortunately, they do this to like women and elderly people and stuff like that, where it works.
And me.
There was one where he had a salesman.
Oh, thanks, Jake.
Where's Jake's mic this week?
Yeah, I need the mic for that shitty comment.
There was a salesman that he would do this to old people, and I would see him just completely club them over the head. And I felt really bad for these people. But because he was kind of an older guy himself, they felt like, let's go to the old salesman that's close to our age. And then he was selling used Cadillacs for more than their new MSRP somehow. And it was just unbelievable. Like he knew these clients were coming, and he would take the stickers off the car to what the price was and make up his own price and stuff like that. So
and what I hate about all this is, is the fact that this one isn't even on the list, but it's part of all of this, is that, again, do you think that I was walked into the dealership with that? No, we had already talked on the phone, because now I've learned at this point that if you go in completely blind, you're minimum 5-6 hours dealing with this crap. You just are. I was like, okay, here's what I want to pay. Here's what I want to put down. Can you get here? Oh, absolutely. Come in and we'll talk about it. 5% of the time, they didn't even get within $200 a month of where I said I wanted to be. Now, of course, and I'll say this, never ever,
because you want like a $100,000 car for $200 a month.
No, I'm not that. I almost said, yeah, no, I'm not that way. What I am is I basically want a car. If I can find 4 or 5 of the same car within 500 miles for $5,000 less, I want that car to be within $1,000 of those 5 cars.
Other than the Bronco and the Lightning, which we bought for MSRP or whatever, is there a single other car deal in all of your existence where you felt like the dealer was making a decent profit?
No. It would have to be on new cars, though, right? Because
no.
I have...
Never. On the leases and all that stuff where you negotiate the leases, so you feel good about yourself, where I know this dealer is getting effed. And that is the deal that you want.
But that's
and that's
my
the only
job.
deal. That's
As a
the only
buyer,
deal
that's my
that
job.
you take.
Why would I give them an extra $10,000? Like a perfect example was the Audi lease. To the e-tron GT. I could have gotten that lease at our local Audi dealership for. It was probably, I think I had to put $5,000 down, and it was somewhere around the realms of like $1,400 a month or something like that for like a 1-year lease. And I found one in Plano where they did a 1-pay. That was, I think I had to give them $8,400, and I got the same. I got it for 1 year.
Right.
And it was I brought it to my dealer here, and they said, we can't touch this.
They can't.
So why would I ever want to spend more? So my job is to spend more.
So, Rob, it's a law of averages. If everyone in the country was just like you, we would have no car manufacturers. They would all be bankrupt. They would all be gone.
God damn it. I think he just won the whole argument. All be gone. He literally won the whole argument out of all of these in one final shot.
It takes someone, I wouldn't call him a sucker, a lay down. It takes people that are willing to just, okay, whatever, just sign me up. I don't care. To make up for the people like you, because it's more and more people like you and less people like that.
But somehow you've made people like me seem like shitheads. But we're trying to. We're just trying to get by and not get screwed.
From the salesman standpoint, you would be annoying,
right? But then from the buyer standpoint, they're shitheads because they're trying to take it from me.
I met you in that kind of adversarial position where I had the car, and you
his wife is.
My wife's here. Courtney, tell me about that Mach 1. Since you're here, you saw it. It was for you,
and I sold it for $5,000 more than what you offered.
To a lay down. You got to lay down to buy $5,000 more.
It was somebody that saw the value of it.
Speaking
because
of
I already had it priced really cheap because it had issues. I was selling a car with issues, and I told you it needs a tune. It has all of this stuff on it. It doesn't really run all that well when it's cold outside.
It needs a tune. Why didn't you put the tune on it?
I didn't know anybody at the time doing dyno tuning in 2011.
There are Mustang tuners all over this town.
I would have to ship it to somewhere else. Honestly, I called around. There was no one in Kansas. I would have had to ship it out of state. And I was just like, well, when it's below
Oh, God.
60 degrees outside,
The thing's
car doesn't want to start, doesn't want to idle. When it's above 60 degrees, because this car came from Houston, it ran fine, and then it had crazy power. It needed a new tune, and I priced it to where basically I wasn't making any money on it. And just for someone to see
How
it, take
did
it, and
he
go.
flip that?
And you
very-
offered
What a
like
salesman.
$5,000 less.
He's good. This is why he's
So-
good at it.
I didn't offer $5,000 less for it at all.
You offered a considerable amount less.
Well,
And I
because
s-
it was broken.
And it was. I think it was $5,000
It was
less.
it was not 5.
It was 5.
2,500.
Speaking
Oh,
of this,
it's fine.
Rob, now you do spend a lot of your time lowballing and harassing people on Marketplace.
Yes.
And is that fine?
Absolutely. Because ultimately, the worst they can say is no, and I don't sit there and if they say no, get lost. I get lost. It's that simple. I don't keep going back at them, being like, "Well, it's not worth that." I never trash somebody's car. I will never sit there and say, "Well, I don't think it's worth that. You're ridiculous." I will just say, "Hey," and this has worked more times than it hasn't. I'll literally be like, I'll shoot them a price with a big laugh smiley and put worth a shot. And sometimes they'll hit it or they'll get close to her. I'm like, all right, let's deal.
The laugh smiley.
Sometimes they'll
I
just
feel
send me
makes
the old
not
middle
take-
finger
Yeah, I was
and-
going to say, it
Well-
makes me not take the offer seriously. Be like,
So the current situation, dealerships are just in the toilet right now.
Correct.
They're used.
Jake, you got any
new,
violin music to play for this?
wherever. They're all struggling, but it's a reap what you sow, because during COVID, they did all these stupid, crazy things. The prices were nuts. The cars' prices got raised up to ridiculous, unaffordable levels to where people aren't buying them now. They're not buying cars now, and there's going to have to be a gigantic shift back.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
it's just
Now-
most dealers are still stubborn, and they're just not willing to do
Well,
it yet.
thank
But
you,
it's
Jake.
going to happen. It's gonna get pulled way back, and it's manufacturers also. They're chasing, high profits versus volume, and that's why they want to sell a $70,000 F-150, and they don't want to offer a $30,000 one anymore.
Now-
That's just.
Would you say you've done a great job at making me look like a complete shitbag buyer, which
You are.
I am.
I am too. It's
I
not
know.
like I'm.
I am. But would you also say that I am a very good seller to my friends, because the cars I sell to my
You're
friends?
an idiot.
Yes, I'm an idiot. I
You
admit that.
No, you're not. You're not making friends good deals.
What are you shaking her
You're
head?
selling
kidding
it. You're selling it to dealer friends that are making a giant profit on your.
How much did you make off the
impatience.
355, even though it burned down
The
on your own
355
dime?
because it was an insurance
Doesn't
deal.
matter. What'd you make?
I don't remember.
What'd you
but
make off the Cobra R?
the Cobra R? I didn't make very much money off of.
I sold it to you for 12. You got at least 20 out of it.
No, I did not get it. It was teens. It was teens.
19,999.
It was teens, and I spent thousands on that car.
Thousands of what? Pesos?
Thousands. No,
You just literally took it off the trailer and drove it. You raced it as it sat.
No, But there. See, that's the thing. I'm a
yeah.
dealer. If you had taken that Cobra
It was
R
for a
and put it
show.
on Cars and Bids or Bring a Trailer, you would have gotten that money
I
yourself.
offered him the right-hand drive Land Cruiser for his channel, which everybody would love, for $3,000.
You just
Doesn't want it.
sold your wife's Porsche 911
She
for like
doesn't know
20
that
grand.
yet.
Oh man, dude,
Oh.
she just sat up. We've thrown Rob under the bus a couple times. So Rob could have made money on the
You
Bronco.
could have just taken pictures, put it
And
on Cars and Bids, and then if
Why?
it didn't sell,
That
then you
was
sell
the
it to a dealer.
conversation for the car, Tyler.
Have fun on your road trip,
Holy
Rob.
shit.
This will be fun. I love being.
Didn't we talk about this last night?
No.
I'm sure we did.
Oh, do you mean at the dinner conversation where you were on Facebook Marketplace lowballing people?
On Fox Body
Well-
Mustangs,
well,
which she wants.
Quit selling it to Lauer. Sorry, Lauer. I know you get a lot of great inventory from Rob. And be a man, put it on Marketplace yourself or put it on Cars and Bids and see what happens. Try it once. You might like it. It's fun.
Okay, all right,
It's
I'll do
fun.
that. All right,
Okay?
right-hand drive Land Cruiser, $3,000. You don't want it. No.
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't-
Cayenne broken. You don't want it.
No.
Okay. GTS. You don't want it.
I want your yellow GTS.
All right, what's the price?
I don't know. I'd have to research it.
See, he's a.
All right, so Lauer gets it for 80. Oh, easy. It's an
See,
easy sell.
that's the thing.
Don't do that.
I'm not gonna do
Give
that.
me a minute, and I would make you an offer. Even though I have like $2,000 to my name right now. So
It's 2,000 more than me.
Yeah.
So, no, I think overall, here's what I want to say to finish all of this. a lot of these things can be just basically combated by doing research. I think we all agree on that.
Correct.
You know,
Generally.
a lot of things. Just do your research. Do your research. Do your research. Do not walk in blind to a dealership. You know, no matter how excited you get, if you're a first-time buyer or you just, you know, it's supposed to be a fun experience. Just do your research. Look at market comps. You know, shop and look for rebates. And you know, if someone says, we got this deal, we got you financed, we think we're good, take the car home, just say, no, I want a contract that says it's final. I want to sign a final contract. I don't want to worry about it. Just do your research. I think
you're preaching to the choir as far as our audience is mostly like us, I would imagine. But yes, definitely very, very good advice. So, and speaking of our audience, you know, we do have a Patreon. If you do want to contribute to that, we'll have it linked below. And just total coincidental, maybe just because it's good karma, one of our Patreon members actually won the Phantom sweepstakes for the M6. We tried FaceTiming earlier. He's actually working in London right now.
So the Patreon member won that? So get on Patreon.
Awesome. Yes, it gives you like good fortune apparently, to where not that it influenced it at all because it's totally random, but it was just a good good karma, I suppose, right? So it's linked below. It helps these guys to continue the research telling stories, which Elliot is next week.
Yes.
And what are we talking about?
We are going to be doing the rise and fall of the Wankel rotary engine.
The rotary engine. Was there ever a rise?
There was, you know, a big push for it.
I don't know if it ever rose
and like
anywhere.
we'll talk about next week, it makes a lot of sense on paper.
A lot of people pushing their rotary engines. Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pushing those apex seals right out.
Thank you so much for watching, listening. We'll see you next time.